Hello there, everyone. Chance. Hi. Howdy. How's it going? This is a long-awaited video. People have really been spamming me a lot lately to make this video. I just got done streaming and then took a shower. Here I am. I'm gonna do a video on my key bindings. A lot of people have been. I've never done one before, and people kind of have been wondering why I chose what I chose. Some of the benefits. There's actually a lot of benefits to the way I chose my key bindings. It doesn't matter what druid I log in because I use the same shit on all my druids. Doesn't matter at all. Okay, so I think everyone's pretty familiar. Let me move my webcam. Everyone's pretty familiar with how I have my setup. People that have seen my live stream definitely know how it looks. But really in detail as to how I like to bind things. First thing I'm going to start off, I'm going to probably go through my talent choices. This is for druids, really, and druids only. Now, I do not know any. This is for PvP, by the way. I don't know any situation where I will take off Wild Charge. Don't know a single situation ever that I do that. Cenarian Ward is better. However, there's some games where you might actually go in which case you might. There are situations where you might want to take Ysera's Gift or Renewal. There are, but not many. It's pretty much always Cenarian Ward. Typhoon, I've never respect out of this. Maybe Mass Entanglement for hunters, but Stampede isn't as strong as it used to be, so at least I haven't noticed it to be that strong, so I pretty much always Typhoon. Soul of the Forest, I've seen other druids use it. I haven't really, for 3 versus 3, but Incarnation for me has always just been better. But I think Soul of the Forest is better at really high rated Feral FMP, which is Feral Mage Priest. Disorienting Roar is better for 3s because nowadays you can't instant Cyclone, so definitely better to go with that than Mighty Bash. But for typical just me, shit I do, 1 versus 1s, World PvP, 2 versus 2, Mighty Bash is probably better. And then I'm pretty much always Heart of the Wild. Unless sometimes I play Kitty Cleave, which is Feral Druid Warrior. You just rush down a fucking healer. Nature's Vigil can be better. Those are the talents I choose, but these right here that you're looking at, this is pretty much the basic shit that I use for what I do in World of Warcraft on my stream, etc. Now the macros. There's not a whole lot of macros anymore. All it is a bunch of focus macros, which you can see over here. I have all my focus macros, which I like to keybind to control. For example, Cyclone is Control T. I would do Control Q to kind of match up with my Shift Q, which is Cyclone here. However, try and get your keyboard hit Control T or Control Q. It's kind of fucking AIDS. So Control T, I don't know why it is that, but it is. And then Control 4 for Bash. I used to have Bash bound right here. See that empty bar there? It used to be 4, so Control 4 was my focus Bash. I moved it to Shift 3 because you can now bash outside of bear form. I'll explain why I moved it from here to here more in depth later, but there's a very big reason to it. And then Control 8, as you can see, my keybind here for kick is 8. Definitely a solid key binding. So it's how I kind of do my focus macros. I like to bind them to control. And then my big key bindings, or my big defensive key bindings, I have them all bound to Shift. You can see Shift 3, Shift F, Shift T for Stampeding Roar, Shift X for Nature's Grass, Shift E for... That's where I kind of like to throw my shift. I'm going to stop getting into too depth with that kind of stuff. But then my main abilities are obviously just like 1 to 4, and then Z, C, E, R, T, 9. I have a Razor Naga pretty much. There's a Logitech, some mouse, just like the Naga, and then F. So my main core damaging abilities, I like to just have single key bindings. That's how I like to do those. But the thing is, I want to get into the reason I have my kick bound to my mouse. It's actually a really crucial thing as to why it's bound to like something so asinine and dumb to most people when they see it. Thing is, you obviously need to have a quick reaction time with, like, say your kicks. For example, my shaman, it's also bound to 8. So like your mouse, I don't know, but me personally, and a lot of people have agreed, they have a quicker reaction time when it's bound to your mouse because you don't have to leave your fingers from W, A, S, and D to move. You don't. So putting it on the mouse, which is where my thumb is always there, is on that 8 button on the side. You don't have to have the mouse I have. But it's really good to bind your interrupt, for example, counterspell, kick, Skull Bash, whatever the fuck, Wind Shear, I would always bind it to your mouse. That's personally how I do it. Now this is the most important thing, and this is for druids only, I think. Pretty much druids only, for the most part. Something you guys need to consider, and a lot of druids don't realize this. I don't know, or they do realize it, but they don't realize they need to make this change. You see how I have 2 rejuvenations? See how I have that? People always give me shit for that. Well, the reason for it is because I have nothing. I might as well throw it here. This is my important rejuvenation. This is the one I pretty much always use. It's Shift 9. Reason it's over here and not on my main action bar is obviously, let's say you take rejuvenation off my bar. Let's take it off. How am I going to rejuvenation? How am I going to do it? I can see my fucking webcam's in an awful spot. How am I going to do it? I'm not, unless I leave cat form, then hit 9. And that just takes more time than it needs to. It does. If I were to have rejuvenation here, fucking, god damn it, I gotta put it back. God damn it. Where is my shit? Aha! Say I'm in cat form. Now look, it's right here. Shift 9. Takes me out of cat on its own. It's just much better to have, and that goes for every single one of these other spells. Every single one of them. The only spells I don't have are Moonfire and Wrath, because like there's just so few situations. I guess I can manage to leave cat to hit those if I need to, or bear, or whatever it is. But in the end, make sure you have your spells keybind out here. Okay? Especially since in cat form, you can use Cenarian Ward while in cat. It's definitely good to have out here. You can use it in bear, you can do that sort of thing. And of course, you're going to have a lot of just empty space here in your main action bar as a Feral Druid. But might as well throw rejuvenation here. Might as well throw healing touch there. Might as well. There's not really anything bad about it. Now this goes for every single class. I wanted to get into this. This is something, if you've played World of Warcraft for a long time, you realize, okay, I have a really hard time targeting people. And this is similar to when you went from clicking to key binding. If you've played WoW for a long time, you remember that moment that you went from clicking to keybinding, whether you did it on your own or someone told you that it's much better. I'm telling you, you don't need a macro for this anymore either. It used to be, I think I still have those macros too, maybe. I do. You see, I have dash target arena 1, dash target arena 2. They just added this in recently. I'm not sure exactly when, but pretty fucking recently. You can now keybind this. You don't have to have a macro. Now, I have this bound to my mouse. This targets myself. This targets my party member, and this targets my second party member. Okay? And those are the... Let me full screen my webcam. Those are the buttons right here. So this will target myself, second party member, third party member. Okay? That's how I have it set up. Now the other thing is, you can also bind, you look here, if you look at target enemy number 1. It's the same key binding, only now I'm holding shift. Okay, so it fits. It makes sense, you know? So it's just going down from top to bottom when you look at it on the mouse. And then same thing with setting them on my focus. Now I highly recommend, if you play Arena, for the love of God, you need to get this. I know it's going to be really annoying dealing with it. You're used to maybe clicking your frames that are over here, but you probably want to get it. Highly recommend it. I got it season 9, and I probably mastered it about season 10. It helped a ton. However, I warn you, if you're able to, I highly recommend you even go farther than I did and have it key bound to focus enemy number 4 and 5, and same with targeting your teammates and the enemy arena team. Because if you ever do happen to Q5s, or maybe you heal an instance, once you're used to using the 1 through 3 targeting people, it's very fucking annoying having to click your 4th and 5th party member. It's very fucking annoying. And clicking, it's even worse, targeting the enemy teammate in 5s. Or enemy team person in 5s. It's kind of like being a keybinder and then all of a sudden having to click a spell for whatever reason. It's pretty infuriating. So if you're able to, if you can find a keybinding that matches for you to get the 4th and 5th bound, if you're just starting, I recommend you bind those, because it's very frustrating for me personally. Very fucking annoying. And so those are basically how I have all my key bindings. And then I kind of just, oh, right. And the other thing, cat form, bear form, and travel. A lot of people ask what I have my forms key bound to. And some people still think that you actually need to go and take cat form itself. Let me find it. And put it on your bar. Like, let me find something I don't give a fuck. Like that. Like, you don't need to have bear form on your bar. You don't. You can just go to here. Key bindings. Under special action button 1. This is bear form. Bear form is special action button 1. And that's number 2. And that's number 3. And so on. My key bindings are obviously, I have 2 key bindings for bear form and cat form. I'll tell you why in a second. And then I have just scrolling on the mouse are my key bindings for my forms. For example, I scroll up on the mouse as cat. It's my main binding. Scroll down is bear. Scroll down, or travel is shift scroll down. And then flight form is control scroll up, and aquatic is control scroll down. I can't go aquatic in the middle of the air, but those are them. And there's an actual reason why those are the key bindings, is because say you're going against a mage. Shifting novas is actually very crucial. You need to shift them very quickly. I think they made it to where you're able to leave cat form even during a global cooldown. You used to not be able to do that, I think, from what I remember. So say you verse a mage. It was very crucial to be able to get out of that nova as quick as possible, because the mage is going to go for an ice lance, and that ice lance is only going to work if you're novad. So it's not as important as it used to be, considering mages always have Fingers of Frost. It's going to crit and do damage anyways, but back in the day, it was insanely important, for especially level 70. Oh my god. So I recommend binding cat form to scroll up, because it immediately makes you leave and go back into cat. It's just the quickest way to do it. And then bear form is just scroll down. And watch me leave bear and go back in. It's the quickest way to do it. And then travel form. Now, the other reason I have 2 bindings is because when someone's casting Scare Beast on you while you're in cat form, there's times I might scroll a little bit too far. So you can, that was scrolling out, but sometimes you might accidentally go back into cat because you scrolled a little bit too much. So I have it's not the best key binding, but it's there. Control G will leave cat form for me, and Control V will leave bear. It's just to avoid someone casting Hibernate or Scare Beast on me, so, see. And it's more guaranteed than the scrolling feature. So that's how I kind of like having my cat form and shit bound. It's pretty basic stuff. And yeah, I mean, the reason I bind stuff is, the way I bind stuff is just serious cooldowns are kind of Shift E, except maybe my one shot really is G, my Swifty macro. Which consists of basically just a ass load of cooldowns that I just threw in there. Berserk, if I have a potion of whatever the fuck, I don't know what that is. Incarnation, and if I have Nature's Vigil, it pops that too. It's really it. And then it Show Tooltip Incarnation. I pretty much never hit that X. I pretty much never use that because it's just the same cooldown as Incarnation, and they just synergize so well together. It's stupid. Ugh. So that's, oh, I fucked it up. There we go. Fixed it. Almost ruined my macro. And that's really how I have most of my key bindings. Oh, and people always ask me, why do I have Ravage and Pounce so far in Africa? Reason is because I used to have Pounce bound to T, but as you can see, I didn't have enough room. And I used to have Stealth bound to F. It used to be like this. It's how my action bar used to kind of look. I think this is level 70 or something like that. However, obviously, Savage Aura came in Wrath of the Lich King, so I had to move that. And then, something. Oh, yeah, I think it's because you're able to... Fuck. Getting confused right now. Fuck. Oh, yeah, and then Thrash came in for cat form. I didn't know where to put that. And Ravage used to suck. Ravage, I think, only became useful in... Yeah, Wrath of the Lich King. And I played Feral at BC. I was one of the few people who did. So, Ravage used to be the shittiest thing in the world. Or not shittiest, but it was a rare spell to use. So, it had its moments. So, I just didn't know where to put them. I had no room. Like, all of these spells for cats are pretty fucking crucial. So, I just threw these stealth ones over here. And I don't know. They're just over in Africa. What am I going to do? So, those are how I do key bindings. Recap. Serious cooldowns are kind of shift. Kind of focus macros and anything else that doesn't fucking matter to me. Let me think of another example that's a control that I don't care about. I don't see anything. Okay, so basically focus macros are just control whatever to kind of match with whatever I have the actual spell bound to, or I try to do that. Serious cooldowns are shift, and then my main core abilities are just basic shit. And then we talked about the reason I have Skull Bash bound to my mouse, or any interrupt really, and then why I have my forms bound the way I do, my macros. Biggest thing I can say though, get some targeting macros to target people in arena. Don't fucking click your frames. It'll make you a lot better. That's probably one of the biggest things I can tell anyone when it comes to arena. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. A lot of people asking for that video, so that's a full explanation as to how I do my shit.
And grab yourself a beverage or hop if you wanna just bounce to my leverage. The evidence, as they say, is in the pudding. So show me the money like my